Well, thankfully, the salt was off the road for a few days, so I decided to take a few cars that didn't quite make it out this year out for a spin, just to keep all the parts working and moving. Here, come along for a ride and drive with me in two of these Mercurys, both being extremely smooth cruisers and just wonderful vehicles to drive. Well, I'm out here on the country roads enjoying this Mercury Marquis Brougham. See if you can guess what year it is. You should be able to tell just by the headrest there. That's a 1 year only item. And the seat pattern. And the door panel. And the instrument panel. Having fun on what is one of the last days, probably with salt off the roads. Just driving things around. But this car's got 50,000 miles. It's kind of finished in, I'll call it a North Carolina blue with a white top and then a white vinyl interior, which is a beautiful vinyl. Boy, this 460, I know people say this is a malaise era and they're down on power and all that stuff, which is true, but this thing feels very peppy. And this is a really relatively rough road surface, you can see here. And inside the cabin, there's nothing. The wind is pretty gusty today. It's about 30, 40 miles an hour. I just passed the truck and I don't even hear anything. The glass in this car is so thick. So is the sound deadening. Look at the carpet. And the heat in these cars is so nice. I think it's partly because you have the bench seat with no center console here. The heat just flows up around you as opposed to it being kind of purposefully directed in one area. And I don't know, on the modern cars, I seem to get cold pockets of air, like on the side of the seat where it just never quite gets warm. This, you're just nice and toasty. Shutting out all of the external world. Doesn't get much better than this. And going 55 miles an hour down a relatively rough road. And not much to say, just nice and smooth. It's amazing the Fords of this era, the fit and finish and the materials I find to be just much better than the GM and the Chryslers. The fuselage era Chryslers really were not all that remarkable on the inside. In fact, they seem kind of cheap. Same with the GMs. GMs did have that, I think, nice wraparound dash on all the divisions except Chevrolet in 71 through the 73 model years. This is the Ford common dash that they went to. Since you're guessing the year, I won't tell you what year. It's also the only year with, as I mentioned in other videos, the white pointers for the fuel and the speed, as well as the transmission shift indicator. But the materials, like the door panel in this car, and the carpet, and the dash, and the seats, and even the perforated vinyl headliner are just a cut above in the Ford than either the GM or Chrysler. Frankly, a couple cuts above. Combine that with the excellent ride, and you definitely see why people love these cars. As I've said in other videos, they don't handle unless you get the firm ride and handling package. And they do have carburetor challenges if you have the 4-barrel. But that's easily remedied. Put an Edelbrock, put a Holley on. You know, easy. I still run the stock carburetors on these. I don't know why. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. They're okay, but they really are not great. The cars that I've bought that came with Holleys and that came with Edelbrocks, I've left them on and I haven't reverted them back. So the thrust in the seat when you just accelerate with this car at part throttle is wonderful. So if you're looking for one of these classics, some people now, the 80s era stuff is getting hot, and some of the 70s era things are cooling down or never got hot. And for whatever reason, these Fords and the fuselage era Chryslers, if you just get, you know, the family car, are still not very expensive. GM stuff tends to be more pricey. So pick up a Ford like this. I love my Mopars. I've got a few. I especially love the Imperials. But if you're just wanting that old school waterbed ride where you talk about moving to port and starboard as opposed to left and right, the Ford is what you want. If you want a handler, we'll get the Chrysler. And if you want something that's balanced with an excellent steering gear for the period, go get a GM. This is just therapy. I don't know about anybody else who watches the channel, but driving around one of these old cars down a road like this is just chicken soup for the soul. Just comfortable. Don't have this annoying screen in the center stack. I just have a clock there and an AM FM 8-track radio to amuse myself with. Nobody tailgating me. Just wonderful. And here we are, just enjoying a quick ride in the 68 Park Lane Brougham sedan at the hardtop. Didn't see this one this year. Taking it out for a little spin. Another smooth cruiser. Great seats. This car is in excellent shape, was so well loved by its previous owner. And I love the cruise control activation of this. You have to pull out this knob down here first. See, that lights up. And then you depress the end of the stalk. And then we see the cruise light. Kind of a goofy setup, but it works. Again, just a car that really absorbs all the impacts here really well.